Hey, what's happening? This your boy Rikishi, your WWE Hall of Fame. Check this out. I want you to keep it locked on Smart Tank Revolution. Don't touch that down. Why? The big man said I back that ass up on it.
So I wanted to talk about Eddie Guerrero, and this doesn't stem from a conversation I had with anybody, recently at least, but I felt like, you know what? There's a video on this channel where I give Eddie his props, and I felt like, why not revive the essentials, this beautiful playlist that we have on this channel, and let's talk about Eddie Guerrero for a little bit. By the way, welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we always kick out at two. I am your host, the benevolent, intelligent, excellent, eloquent, and everything that was heaven sent, Mr. Donnie Wonderful. This is the Essentials, the first one of 2024. So, welcoming back this illustrious playlist that we have where we rank wrestlers according to two criterias. One based on Bret Hart's rating system that you can find in his book, My Real Life in the Cartoon World of Wrestling. And the other one is our very own, our personal, it's our baby. And that's what we call the essentials. Bret Hart ranks scores wrestlers rather from 1 to 10, whereas we do a 1 to 5 and we offer grace periods or grace scorings metrics by saying, hey, you can be a 2.3, 2.4, whatever. You guys get it. We play the decimals, we round up, so on and so forth. But I was just thinking because I was watching A&E, and getting caught up on the rivals, and then watching a lot of the old Dark Side of the Rings. And I was just thinking, man, Eddie Guerrero, for some reason, I don't remember where or what episode it was, but I was thinking, man, Eddie Guerrero was really great. And I was just thinking about his career, giving a retrospective thought of his career from the time where I first saw him. And I thought that it would be interesting to see where I would rank him in this category here. I'm sorry, in this playlist, the essentials. So we're gonna get right into it because one thing I will say is that there's the highlights that everyone will pretty much go to, and from my experience when we're talking about Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio for that matter, you know, more so Rey, but the highlights all begin and the majority of those that I speak to in their minds within the WWF/WWE, I don't agree with that. I think that was probably the most triumphant and the most exposed is, I say that loosely, because man, I'm gonna get into it, man. But the ECW years and everything Paul Heyman said to Eric Bischoff when you said you got these guys from ECW. If you go back and you look at that work, man, it was interesting to watch. It's interesting. It was fun to watch, and I'm gonna get into all of it. So, man, the WCW stuff is by far my favorite. And well, we'll go right into it. Three categories: Bret Hart scale, wrestler's look, promo ability, and in-ring work. We're going to begin with the wrestler's look. Eddie Guerrero, I don't know how tall he was, but one of the examples people use is if you see a man walk into a store or whatever, if you just look at him and you look at his physique, you say, wow, you're a professional something. Or like me, right? So I'm 6'4". I'm about two. I call myself the Rob Gronkowski, but like I'm about like I fluctuate really between like 275. I'm not lifting heavy weight anymore. So I gotta hop on a scale. I gotta hop on a scale. But I play basketball, football, box. People tend to ask me, man, did you play enter your professional sport here? And I say, yeah, I played in high school, college, boxing. I'm like, oh, but they look at me and they make that assumption. And often that assumption is somewhat accurate. Some people think I am a pro. Well, used to think I was a pro when I was younger. And then there's some people that just know, all right, you're going to ask him, and oh, yeah, he has a sports background. Now, that's 100% correct. When you look at Eddie Guerrero, especially in the WWE years when like he really started like to bulk out, like his physique really he got jacked, and when he started to broaden out some, yeah, you can say that. But if you go back into the early or mid '90s in his ECW years, his physique was rather, was rather plain and generic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I also attribute the looks to is what the attire is. And I've always loved Eddie's attire. I've always loved it. The ECW with the tassels on the side, the pure Mexican pride. His WCW tights, man, and then the WWE. I'm gonna score him. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give Eddie Guerrero. I'm gonna score him a 7. I'm gonna give him a 7. My heart says 8. So if you're new to this channel, we'd like to welcome you and offer you an invitation to subscribe to us. But also, if you're new to this playlist, I tend to score and rank these emotionally, at least on my end. My esteemed colleague, Mr. Joey Business, is a lot more strict, and that's why his essentials rankings are my favorites. Mine's I tend to score and rank with my heart, not with my mind. So I'm trying to kind of reverse that. So I really want to give him an 8 because I've been a huge fan of Eddie Guerrero, man, huge fan. But I'll stick with the 7. So the promo ability, okay. So Eddie came from a different era of wrestling. I don't really like to count the WWE produced stuff like those backstage segments, even though they are again produced works, but those are promos. Um, I don't think he's had a problem with conveying any message. Now, does it have the intelligence and wit as a John Cena? No. Does it have the same passion and flair, pun intended, as Ric Flair? Not quite, but just about there. You can tell, especially like when he was really going with the Latino heat. He turned that up huge, and I really like that. I was into that. I'm into that. So I'm gonna give his pro. I'm also gonna rank his promo ability a 7. And that should be higher. I agree, but like it also depends on you know what he happens to be talking about, because I guess one of the go-to promos was obviously he wrestled Rey Mysterio for custody of Dirty Dom, and now I look at it, maybe Eddie should have won. It explains a lot, but like those promo segments were golden. But back in the '90s, you know, the direction was I'm talking about my opponent and what I'm going to do to him in the ring, and I thought he represented well there too. So, these 7s technically would be C, but he's above average in all of these. So, like even though it's a 7, right now he's standing at a 14. It's not to mean that he's an okay wrestler, because he exceeds the scale when it comes to that. As a matter of fact, this next catalog will help me out a lot. The in-ring work. Eddie Guerrero looks so smooth, crisp. One of the best frog splashes ever. Got just the right height, the right movement. Everything was in perfect harmony. Everything synced well. The impact looked great. Three Amigos. looks beautiful. Pretty wrestler, man. I'm telling you, like his moves just all look like they hurt the hell out of their opponent. I'm gonna score him a 9 here. I'm gonna give his in-ring work a 9, and I don't think anybody can argue that. Aside from it should be up higher, and ranking him at 10, I wouldn't be opposed to either because, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna rank this one with my heart. Sorry, scratch that out. I'm gonna give him a 10. He was the that I saw on a Monday Night Raw. He was the first person to pull off that ladder power bomb against RVD, and in a time where it was becoming more difficult to remember moves and talk to them and make reference to them to your friends the next day or the next or for the following 7 days until the next Raw to the next time you got to a SmackDown was coming pretty difficult and few and far in between, and he was able to give us moments like that. So I'm gonna give his in-ring work a 10. I don't have anything to criticize about his in-ring work. I think it looked beautiful. And if you want examples of that, you don't even have to go to WWE. Just look what he was doing in WCW and ECW. Now, your dance partner does play a major factor in that. But who hasn't he been able to be matched up against? And he had great matches with everybody. Kurt Angle, right? Kurt Angle is, in my opinion, one of the highest of the highs when it comes to degree of in-ring work. And him and Eddie did some wonderful things. And just look at how he made Brock look. Man, man. So what is that? So that's 24. So according to Bret Hart scale, as long as you score over a 20. As long as you score over a 20. And now, continuing this rapid pace, we're going to go into the essentials itself, the Smart Tank Revolution's unique rating system. And descriptions of these are also in the description box in case you care to get more of an in-depth breakdown of how we're supposed to rank these. And I try to stick to them, but again, I'm a man of the flesh. The flesh is weak. So sometimes I will judge with my heart. Again, you guys know me by now. Innovative effectiveness, the ability to work as a babyface or heel. I'm going to rank him a 4. I love Eddie Guerrero as a babyface. He's a darling. And I think I've seen just about every form of that. Meaning, he was just the guy you root for, the underdog in WCW when he had the white tights with the red lightning. I want to call it the red lightning design. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Google it. And then that babyface Eddie Guerrero was coming out on Nitros and wherever he was wrestling, he was having some great matches, and that's what won me over. Around the same time, like Chris Jericho as well, that they had that type of same effect. So you have that, and then his heel. I mean, man, and this will probably bleed over into another category, but when he that car accident, when he came back from that car accident, and then the suspenders came down, and it just became just he wrestled in just those the pants, and he had the Mexican music with the Mexican trumpets and the faces and the scowl that he made. He let his hair grow a little longer. You know, he had a thick mustache, but he kind of trimmed it up a little bit and let the beard a little peach fuzz grow. And he was mean mugging everybody. Man, come on. And then you get over to WWE where they're gonna. I mean, he was already on Max. They just gave him an extra bass boost there. So yeah, man, I'm gonna give him a 4. Man, he can work as a baby face or a heel. It does not matter, especially when he's working with his friends. So that whole group, Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho. Well, it's going to lead over into some other things too. So, for their classic matches and classic rivalries, I've named a few already in WWE. Uh, Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, but Rey Mysterio Jr. Rey Mysterio Jr. ECW, WCW. The whole cruiserweight division wrestled each other. Those were classic, and we were getting them for free on Monday. Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis. Rey Mysterio versus Super Calo. Come on, man. Man, that was a great time to be a wrestling fan. And for most of us, that was our exposure to that division and seeing that type of luchador style in abundance right there on TNT Monday nights. Rey Mysterio versus Conan. Like these guys, Bret even said in his book, they were kind of like the souls of WCW because they exerted the most effort. And damn, did they get rewarded with fan favor and fanfare. Rey Mysterio versus Ultimo Dragon. I can't even write. And these matches and rivalries. Again, most of them were free. Monday Nitro. But here's my dark horse, and it wasn't necessarily a classic match nor a class. All right, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. So I'm also going. I'll give him. I mean, Rey Mysterio in WWE. You know, Batista. I'm gonna give him a 4 here as well. But the defining and redefining moments. Okay, so this is extremely subjective, but I'm going to score this. Here's where I'm going to use my dark horse. And it's something that's not, I don't think anybody's going to reference it. None of the pundits are going to reference it. Like, if you missed it, you blinked your eye, you missed it. But I remember the feeling. And I'm going to reference Slamboree 1996 when they were doing the random tag teams. Okay. So at the time, and this was supposed to be random, the drawing was Ric Flair and Randy Savage were feuding with each other, deathly feuding with each other against Arn Anderson and Eddie Guerrero. This was the first time, and that match wasn't even that long, right? Nothing really about that match, but here's a defining and redefining moment for me personally. This is where I first saw Eddie in the ring with higher contemporaries. And that's, I'm not disrespect. I don't mean no harm when I say that. It's just that Randy Savage was in a world title picture. I've always known him as being in a world title picture, even from the WWF at the time. Ric Flair goes without saying. NWA, WCW, WWF, whatever at the time. Arn Anderson, the enforcer. Come on, we all knew about the Horsemen, the Brain Busters. You know, Arn Anderson can really go. At that time, I was only used to seeing Eddie Guerrero in the cruiserweight division, and just seeing him in the ring with those guys really meant a lot for me. I said, okay, it was kind of like they gave one of the best players from JV a chance to come up to the varsity and practice. But what happened after that, they booked Eddie Guerrero versus Ric Flair in a match not too long ago, not too long after Slamboree, if not the next day. And that was the first time that I recalled seeing him now outside of ECW, saying in WCW. It was one of the first times that I could recall seeing him wrestle one of the top wrestlers in the industry at the time in Ric Flair, if not of all time, and him hold his own. That was defining and redefining for me. And that's one of, I mean, there's other references I could have called in, but I just went straight pure nostalgia, and I wanted to bring that one because that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. And I remember having a conversation at the lunch table. Wait a minute. Was I in school? I don't remember. I think I was in school. I lunch table, campsite. I don't know. Wherever we were, he was in a calf. We were talking about that, and I'm saying, "Yo, this Eddie Guerrero, man. Listen. If you saw what he did with Ric Flair, not that it was a Dave Meltzer's 1,700,000 star match, but I'm just saying, like when we got a chance to see him there, when I got a chance, rather to see him compete with Ric Flair. I said, man, all right, this goes beyond the cruiserweight division. And then just look what happened. Look what happened. You know, champion in was it 2004? Yeah, 2004. I'm pretty sure it was. I may get the years messed up, but I'm gonna give him a four for that too. Finding redefining moments. And that one I wanted to stay off the WWE grid just a little bit. You guys may agree or disagree with me. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments. This was the essentials. Let me know how you guys feel about Eddie Guerrero, man. Just wanted to power this mic on and give him some love on again a playlist that we kind of abandoned. We apologize, but hey, I encourage all of you find a wrestler that interests you on this playlist and listen to how myself and or Joey Business has ranked him and let us know how you feel about it in the comments. Donnie Wonderful signing off.